Good afternoon, Judy Allen here. I know I didn't quite make it to get there before noon, but anyway, I'm live. I can see everything today. I've got lights on, and when my techie came to check out what I was talking about, everything worked perfect for her. So I told her next time something happens with my technology, I'm just going to record it with my phone, and that way I have it for her. So I at least did show her the video of me working in the dark last week. So anyway, we don't know what happened, but everything seems to be working just fine today. So today is the last day that I'm going to be doing the Gingerbread Man. So it's free kit to go right from the 1st to the 15th of this month. So if you purchase anything today, then you'll get the kit. Tomorrow starts a new thing tomorrow. So I'm going to play around with some shimmery paste. If you've never played around with the shimmery paste, it's something fun to do. I've been wanting to do it, and today was the day. So even though I'm working on tutorials still for the retreat for Saturday, I still wanted to play with this today and show you, because you can do different things with it, right? It's just a matter of what do you want to do and what's the best way to do it. So I'm going to show you some things I've already done, and I'm going to show you what to do. I'm working on a box lid today for the Gingerbread Man, so we can put cards, some of those cards we've already made in it to gift it to somebody, right? So let's go to the hands. Let me show you what I've been up to and see what you think. Right, so this is what sort of my team and I do. We'll see things that somebody's shown out there, or a technique, a new technique, maybe Stampin' Up showed, and we'll sit up there and get together and play around with a new technique. So this is one of the items, right, that we'd already made that is part of the free kit to go. And then this is what we're using. Put it way over there so don't knock it over something. And this is what we're using, right? We're using the Gingerbread Man. And I'm also going to do some die cutting while I'm here today to show you. And we're going to use these right here. Use the ones they did to coordinate with the Gingerbread Man. And you can see that we've got the real red in here. This is shaded spruce. And this looks like petal pink. I haven't done, everything I've done is done with the softer colors, like what I've done right here, where I've done the pinks and light blues and everything and all. So today I'm actually going to focus on using the red and the greens, right? Because I really haven't done enough of that. So I want to be sure to do that. The other thing I'm going to show you that we're going to use today, and I'm going to show you the difference and why, is I've used fluid 100 watercolor paper. And I'm going to show you why that is, all right? And I've had better success with it doing it than I did with anything else. So here is the box lid. And here's our gingerbread people that we can put together. Oop, did I just see that? Ah, okay. So then I have to keep that in mind. So I didn't see that before, is I have to really look at the fact that when I move something in, this camera acts differently, right? Okay. So we're actually going to do the lid with the gingerbread. We're going to finish up the gingerbread people here, but I wanted to show you some things that we did here, okay? So this is the shimmery paste. And actually, it's not a thick paste, it's a really light paste. And I'll show you in a minute as I do it, but it's got a lot of shimmer to it. So I've done a couple of different things I wanted to show you that we could do with it as possibilities. And I've brought this here because we're going to do something else as well too. So I actually made my own stencil. So how did I do it? I literally just took the dies out of the die set for the Gingerbread Man, and I use this as a die. Now this right here, you see all the shimmer. Let's see if I can get you to see all that shimmer. Get the light just right. Oh yeah, see it? That's all shimmer. It's all shimmer. It looks like just a bunch of little glitter up here close, but that's what that is, shimmer. So this here is actually, this here is the fluid paper, all right? And if you can see, the paper didn't curl up, it didn't do anything else. That's because it's the fluid water paper, so it's going to handle moisture differently than our cardstock. And I'm going to show you that also. So I actually used a cardstock because I wanted this little 5-ring. Let's try this out here. See how it curled the paper? Alright. So anything I do is just the fact that I sat there and used this as a stencil versus it. So I wanted to show you that. Now the thing is that I'm going to show you a couple of things I did do some paste on. And I'll show you the differences. Because this is what we do. Like when we come together as a team, my team and I, we get together and create, this is what we do. Now I just recently did this. So this is actually a candy cane that I cut out. You can see that I used it because it got glitter all over it. So if I wanted to use it, I could. Because I did use it with this fluid paper. It's got enough glitter on it, but I used it on a candy cane that you're going to see in just a second. And this here was also done with just regular paper. Okay, so it just wants to bend. It didn't curl as bad as that. If you use the thick white, right, thick white cardstock, it's not going to do as well. It's not going to curl up like just regular cardstock would, right? Or if you got a thicker, heavier one. So this is actually another stencil that I created. And what I want to show you is you can actually color it, right? So it's like everything else that we have, we can actually color it. And when I did do that, so when you color over this, and this is my prototype here, what I wanted to show you is that you can still see the glitter, but you can still see the glitter, right? Because it allows you to do that. And it doesn't come off on the pen, right? Sometimes I was concerned that I was going to have glitter all over my pen, but I didn't, right? But you can see that you can get whatever color you want. And that is the paper right here, the fluid paper. The other thing I played around with is making those gumdrops, right? So this right here I did with the actual dies. Let's see if I have the dies out here. I might not have had to clean them off, and that would be the only thing, right? If you use your dies to do this, you're going to have to clean them off. I had to clean off my palette for it. I don't think I had them with me. But anyway, so here's the die cut of this right here. So what I did is I just used the dies. This one was with the blade facing down, the cutting part that's going to cut it. I had it facing down. And see, I couldn't really get a texture. I could get different textures. It took a little while for this to dry because it's pretty thick. I didn't use my heating tool to take it. This one is where I flipped the die. So let's see if I have another die with me and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here, this die here. Alright, so just pretend like this is the gumdrops. When I did this one, I had it down like this, right? So it was lifted up and I did this. You can see it was a little bit higher than this here, but really and truly I couldn't really control what I was doing too much with it. When I flipped it over this way and I had the flat part down and the cutting part up, that's what I did right here. So you can see the difference. I was able to get a real thicker gumdrop by doing that. When I did the other way, whereas this one's thinner. So, I mean, I sort of like the height of this, but the only problem I have with it is that, right, I couldn't control everything. So I think what I would do is most probably, if I did this again, I would most probably still do it maybe this way, but then turn around and take it and flip the die over, and that way I could make this even higher. Because I was trying to stack up and get some higher gumdrops, sort of like you would, right? If you went and bought and ate some gumdrops, it'd be taller and get more of the 3D effect. So that's what I was trying to do. So I didn't do it there. So, but you have options, right? It's all about options and getting there. Now this here was, I just used this right here. This was my fluid paper. You can see all the glitter all over it. And I just sat there and I laid it down and I put the paste right over it. So I'm going to show you right now how I did that. I'm trying to think which one I'm going to want to use the most next if I'm going to use it. We're going to, you know what? We're going to do this. So let me show you right here. So here's and the stencil I showed you first that I made. And I also made this one here. Now the only thing is this is candy cane, so I'm going to have to die cut this out, right? Because I don't really have unless I have a circle that fit, but I don't think I do. So I'm not sure. I didn't try this out to see how die cutting over this would go. I would be interested to see how well it would work. I'll have to try that out and post a picture for you later. But I really like how clean these came out. I had a lot of control from the stencil I created. So I thought I would do this for you, but let me go ahead and do this one because I'm going to do this one here. And I'm going to do it, I didn't bring a tissue or anything to clean up my mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it right here. I wanted to, so you sort of have to think about what you're going to do, right? So as I'm looking at this right here, and I put these, originally I thought I was going to put the gingerbread people here. But I mean, they are just the height of the box. So I don't even have a hat on or anything, right? I want to put a hat on there, and we're going to do something there. So I've decided I was going to go with them just like this here, and we can stack them, right? It's a box lid. We're going to give it to someone with gifts on the inside. So I thought, all right, I want to use this here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come across the corners here and do it on each side. And you know what? If we want to do all four corners, we could. But I'm just going to start off with the two opposite ones where I know these guys are going to be on my box lid. So that's part of it, and that way it can be drying, right? It didn't take terribly long for stuff to dry. The thicker stuff did. So if you did something light like this did not take that long to dry. When I did this candy cane, and I'm looking. I did this one, it didn't take long to dry, right? But when I showed you the gumdrops and how thick they were, that definitely took long to dry. And here's another candy cane I did at the same time. All right, and what I did, and I'll show you what I actually used my silicone mat behind this because I know this will come off the silicone real easy. But you see that one little spot right there is just still damp where I actually got it thick. The rest of it's dry, but it'll easily come off of this. I mean, if you got a silicone mat or anything that's silicone, I would use it. But see how easy that just comes off? It just flakes right off. I can just flex it and it'll come off. I'm not trying to create a mess because I'm already going to create a mess just doing something else I'm going to do. But here was, so again, I made a stencil with this, right? And I put the white paste on there, and that's what I end up doing it there. Now, so you're going to get two different looks, right? So here's a look with the paste on it. This here does not have the paste on it, and this is what it's going to look like. All right, because I wanted to show you the difference. Because I'm not going to get as white as this is here. I could put the white, I could most likely put the white paint on here, the white ink. I don't know, I have to check and see. But you see that the difference is, it just depends how bright of a white you want. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this one on so you can look at that. Oops. And it's a new wiring that I don't mess up on the new camera. Thank you. This thing's got like a long wire. Looks scary. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on so you can look and see how that difference looks, right? So it just depends how bright, like I said, white you want. Because I thought, like I said, I'm going to incorporate the green and everything today. But for sure, right, I'm going to sit there and... So I just want to show you that you get definitely a different look, right? You definitely get a different look. It just depends. You get a different texture here. I get a different look here. But I've got the texture and then more 3D because I've got the paste here. You got the 3D look with this here, right? So it's just going to matter of what do you want. All right, so I'm going to set those aside. And I'm going to set these two aside at the moment as well, too, as we go ahead and do these corners. Now, I really wanted, let's see here. What I really wanted to be able to do is to tuck this under just like this, right? Because I just want this area. I don't want it everywhere. All right, so since I have my silicone mat here, I'm just going to shake all this stuff in my trash. Yep, so I just want you, I'm not going to show you the trash. I'm trying to think how I could show you. But I showed you how easy it came off. So we're going to get it all off. That one spot is wet. I might have to look out for that. But that's about it. All right, I'm not going to be able to get that off as much as I wanted to because I don't want to get that. Let's see here. Let me scrape that wet part off. All right, it's like, what else can I do? Because I really don't want that wet part off. All right, and the other thing I can do is I can just flip this over. If I thought about it, I do have more than one silicone mat. I wasn't thinking about that at the time. But anyway, it's okay. All right, so if you need something to hold it down, then I would just hold it down just like we would using our Post-it notes, all right? So I'm just going to do it like that, and all I'm going to do is you just have to decide where you want it, right? So I'm going to lay mine down right here, and I am going to get some Post-it notes. I have little trust, all right? All right, I'm going to go ahead and put that down there, and I'm going to put this down right here. Oh yeah, so yes, right, I was busy cleaning this off in the sink. The soapy water, and I thought, you know, I might just want to look out for that because I don't think there's anybody that wants glitter, sparkle of any of the dishes they have in the sink. So anyway, I had to think about that. All right, so I'm just going to do this here. Yeah, I should have had a paper towel or something handy. Where I was at, I could just dip it in the sink, right? So I wasn't really too worried about it. I could wash it off with a soap out there. So I don't have that here. But I did use this one. So this comes with 3 different ones. So here are the other two. I just thought this one worked the best for me because I was just working with a small area. You decide what's easiest for you to use, right? And I just came across here, and I just came just like this. So it reminds me of my uncle. My uncle was a bricklayer. Oops. Right? And I always had to get everything smooth. So it just depends if you want a really super smooth edge or not. And I'll be sure to show you also, I actually did a window sheet because I thought it'd be really cute that I would have like a window that these two are holding, and I had the really small. Now see, I can clean it off, and I'm not worried about that because I know I have a stencil, so I can come back and redo that if I need to, right? So don't sweat it because you can do that. I sweat more the fact that I've got this paper coming up and I just want it flat so I can work with it. Alright, so let me go and we're going to do the other side. And I don't think these really helped me a whole lot. They helped me better with paper. And I'm just going to scoot this up. And again, I'm just going to fold it because I want to be able to see and get it just right here on the corner. And I know that's going to dry, so keep in mind, right, whatever you do, your gingerbread is going to cover a lot of this stuff here, except for where we're actually putting the stencil, right? Okay, and I'm just going to put one right down here. Same thing. I'm just eyeballing it. I don't measure it. Same, you see how soft that is? That's real soft. It almost reminds me of whipped cream. It's so soft. No, it's not whipped cream, but that's what it reminds me of. Alright, and I'm going to do the same thing. And like I said, I don't worry about it. So just pull it off, right? And again, I'm not worried about it because I know I can come back and do it again, right? But I'm going to let it dry and then I'll come back and do it again. So I'm going to put this back on. And I like the fact that it's so shimmery, right, when it gets through. So I'm going to put that right over there. And the thing is where I've positioned this, I can sit there and come back and redo it as well, too. There we go. You get more concerned about this drying on this. Okay, I'm looking for my little clear. I don't see it. Alright, it's going to most likely show up in a minute. So I actually had it like a window sheet, and I'm looking because right, it's clear. It's like everything else. It blends in with anything, everything white. Alright, I'm not going to sweat it. So what I have here is we're going to make some hats. Alright, so I've done this on two-tone cardstock. So we have options, right? So this is done with swirly embossing folder. This is done with a new Christmas Words embossing folder. And this one here is done with the, can't think of the name of it right now, but anyway, it has to do with the fall, right? So these like little leaves and everything. So we're going to make our hats. I've got our hats and our scarves. So we're going to do our hats and our scarves with this. But first we're going to sit there and give it a little extra texture. Now, if you wanted some extra color, right, we could sit up there and use our Stampin' Blends. We could flick color on here. But I'm just going to give us a different looking color just by taking this right here. And you can do as much or as little as you want, right? So this is actually real red two-tone cardstock. Alright, so that's this one. I'm going to set it here aside. And this one is in green. Right, it's just about knowing what the different looks look like in choices. For me, I like choices, right? Alright, so that's what that looks like. And then here's the words. It's got Happy Christmas. So when I go to die cut the hat and everything else, you're not going to see all the words, right? Because the hat and everything is little, but I like the fact that the words are just even there. I'm going to do the same thing with the green here. And I actually have my mini embossing machine that we're going to use today to die cut this. So if you haven't seen it before, the mini embossing machine is perfect for stuff like this. You just want to do some little stuff and get it done, right? Without having to bring in your bigger embossing machine out. So I'm going to do the same thing. I just want to show you the different looks on all of them when you sit there and just, this is just what they use to file your nails with. It's a block. Nice thing about it block, right, is you can hold on to it. Okay, so that's what that would look like. I don't want to do it heavy duty, right? I just want to get some of the accent color. But you can do it as much or as little as you want. Like I said, you could easily do it in white and splatter color on it. Just like color, again, it's as much as you want. Okay, so that's the ones I did right here. So you can see the different looks. Doesn't matter if it's green, right? Check out a bright green here. Oh yeah. Those Christmas colors going. And then here we've done it in real red and the same thing, right? We just changed it. So you see the different looks that you get just by changing out the embossing folder. But yeah, it gives you the texture and everything and all for making the hats and everything else. So I got it handy here. Let's do it. Now we're fixing to find out whether or not it causes things to flatten out. So sometimes, depending on the die and the what you've embossed, right? I was trying to think of it a second. It's going to all depend on whether or not I usually prefer to die cut first, then emboss. But since we were going to do the sanding of the two-tone, I thought it was going to be too small for me to be able to handle and do. So I went ahead and did that. So you'll see what I mean. We'll see if it flattens it out any or not. Okay, so we're going to use these plates right here. So it's just like the big embossing machine. It tells you which plates you need to do. So actually we're going to be die cutting. So it tells us that we need plates 1 and we need 2 of plate 2. So here's 1 of plate 2. Here's the other. Now all you do is make sure the Stampin' Up's at the bottom and you know you got to go in the right way, right? So let me show you what I did there. So I just cut there. So what we're going to do here is you want to make this in an E, all right? So what we're going to do is when I say an E, it's going to be just like this. So when you do it sideways, see how that looks like an E? All right, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to actually put our paper in here. And then I'm actually going to die cut both of these at the same time. All right, so I'm going to actually I wanted to go that way with my swirly stuff. So it's just a matter of which way you want your swirly stuff to go. So I'm going to just put it right there together. And we're going to do that. Let's see here. I'll have to stand up here. Yep, you have to bear with me just a second here as I stand up. Normally I don't have the paper here, but I wanted to if I was going to use that paste. Alright, we'll see how it does here. Alright, so it did flatten it some. So if you can see here, we still at least have the image, right? But if you look how raised the texture is there versus how it is. So that's really a tip would be is if you really want the texture to show up, then I would sit up there and do the embossing first, then turn it around and do your texture. So we're using an embossing folder. Alright, so that's one. And so if I wanted to, I could go back in and re-emboss this again. I don't know what that would look like, but we'll set that aside. And I'll show you the next one. I'm assuming it's going to do the same thing. We'll do the red one this time with the words. I'm going to come down here and capture Christmas if I can on the, right there on the top here. And then here's our scarf. Right, so again, just find whatever you would like. I think I would like the with love. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. So everything is, you know, thinking about what do you want, right? What do you want it to look like when you go and put it down? Again, we sandwiched it with the E, right? Okay, and I'm going to come right here. Okay. Now see, that's what I get concerned about right now is if it flattens paper, what will it do to the stuff that I actually use the paste on, right? And we'll show you with this one here so you can see the difference. Now you can still see the you see the Christmas, right? But again, see how it's really sort of flattened that out? Versus here, you can see the raised letters. Whereas here I can't, right? You can see where I took it from, and you can see it because I actually buffed it, right? Because of two-tone cardstock. But the actual feeling of the words and actually feeling the texture of the words, you're not going to get that at flatten it. So again, what I would want to do is sit there and cut it out like I did, and then go back and emboss. Now, because these are words, right? I would really be testing myself to see if I could really align those up. I most probably could. But anyway, it's to really sort of show you different ways to do things and how we can do it, right? Okay, let's do this one here. And this is the last one we're going to do, and then we're going to put our gingerbread people together here. And same thing, you're going to see the same thing, right? So it's just a matter if you do want it like that or if you don't want it like that. And I can actually try to emboss to brush this. Sorry, knocked over the other plates. Okay. And the world did not end. Okay, so let's get this one going through here. Yep. So the key to this, like I said, is to sit there and do it where the plates line up like an E. And if you're just doing this on the table where it's not going to shift around like this, it's because I'm on paper. Yeah, now my plates, my other plates. Alright. Those are the ones for the embossing. Alright, so we're going to take these off. And again, okay, that one didn't come out as easy. Where's my little pick tool? Yeah. So I don't know you guys, but I'm glad it's Wednesday. I'm one day closer to retreat. Hours closer to being done with all of my tutorials. I have a little gadget that'll poke these things out. Oh, there we go. Alright. The thing is, I can put these on if I decide that I want it more texture than I get going. Then I can just go do it again and put it over the top of that. I'll put these sideways like this so they won't slip again. Okay. Alright, but again, see here. So here's what we did. We did those little leaves, right, from the autumn stuff. And again, they're flatter, right, than what we saw here. Now, when we go to try to, the other thing is that you got to keep in mind, because it's flatter now, if I go and try to buff it off, it'll buff off, but it definitely buffs off a lot easier. I'm going to have to use the corner of it, right, to buff off and try to get those images. But I'm not going to be able to capture it all because it really has flattened that out. So that's exactly why when you do it, you want to sit there and think about, like I said, die cut first, then emboss. And in this particular case, I thought it was going to be too small, but you can see I could use the edge right there, and I could sit there and still buff some of it off, right? But I get a different look. All right, let's get our gingerbread people here. Okay, so what I love about this, right, is we can mix match things. It doesn't say that nobody can't have a red hat with a green scarf, right? We can do anything we want to do. And let's see here. This is the one that had the swirly. We did with the swirly, and let's mix match it up. Let's take, oh, here's some of the words right here. All right, and we're just going to put this on with glue. And then we're going to add the buttons on here for the gingerbread people, and we'll see if our box lid is dry enough to put these on yet or not. Right? So I'm just going to put this on right here. Same thing here. So you just have to let it dry, right? Because you don't want to mess it up. And the thing is, nice thing is, even if I put these on, I can still go back. And we'll find out in just a minute if it's dry yet or not. I was in the kitchen, right, when I did all this, so it's a little bit warmer in there, right? Depending on what you got cooking or going on in the kitchen. I'm not sure what the temperature is up here. It feels good up here, but I'm not sure what the temperature is. So have a difference, right? So you just need to keep that in mind as well too. I just didn't want to have to use my heat embossing to dry it. You could though, right? You could. You just need to have something to hold on to it, because I don't know how long it would take. Main thing is, right, be sure to use your fluid paper, because it's got a lot of moisture, right, in the paste. And you want it to sit there and let it do that. So it won't curl the paper up and everything else. All right, so I have it right there, and we're going to go ahead and put these on here. Then we'll see about putting these on the actual lid. I actually put the name of what set it went to so I wouldn't forget. It doesn't mean you can't use them for anything else, right? It's just that sometimes when we get all these different ones, it's like, well, what kit did it come with? What did it come with? All right, so I'm just going to actually use these bigger. I'm not going to use the super big ones. I'm going to use the ones in between. So I'm just going to start in the middle, where I think is going to be the middle for me. Right, and if you wanted a shorter scarf, just cut it shorter. That's all I would do. I'm going to get one right here. And I'm just going to put it right there. I might have to make that shorter, or I might have to put it up on dimensionals, right? I could have put the scarf on dimensionals. That would have been nice. Okay, we're going to come over here and do the same thing, except I'm just going to reverse the colors. I'm going to start with green. So yeah, I didn't put these down, but the nice thing is, right, if I wanted to come back, I could come back and put another one up there, and I could put it on dimensionals. Oh yeah. But even just lifting up right there, right, it just gives it a more of a 3D look. So just like we used the stencil for the box, we could actually come back to the cookies themselves, right, the gingerbread man, and we could actually even add more to it as well if we wanted to. And we could even add a little paste across here. Like I said, I don't see that little sheer piece of paper I had, but you know, you could sit there and do that as well. I'll actually put a little bit of glue there. Okay, hold on. All right, there we go. Gently pulled it up. All right, so let's get our top out. We're going to put this up on dimensional, so let's see if this is dry. All right, so that is dry. And that is dry. Way, yay. So you can see some of it got on there, but that's all right. Just added sparkle to it. But this is a lid. And now I can add more if I want to. So we're just going to take these guys right here. And so, so they come together. As you can see, I cut right here, the middle right here when I stamped it. I just took which one I liked the best, and that was the one I was going to put right here. They're both going to go up on dimensionals. One of them might have to go up on double dimensionals. And double dimensionals is nothing more than just stacking your dimensionals, right? So when I go and put this on, I'm going to leave space so I can put some ribbon through here. See, this is going to be covered. Nobody's going to see it. Only anybody sees, the person gets to see this is the person watching the videos or watching the live replays or whatever. Okay, so I'm just going to put some down here. And I'm going to leave the middle open. I'm going to put it right here, because I am going to put some ribbon through here. As I look at that, I might want to move this one up, because the other one's going to be lower. I haven't decided yet. I think I'm going to use that real pretty green ribbon that's shaded spruce with the gold trim. That's what I'm thinking. But I don't have to. And the thing is, I don't have to stay within the parameters of the lid either. It can go, because this is a lid of a box, right? It's not like a card going in an envelope. So you can do what you want to do. So I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to put one here. This one I'm going to double stack, and I'm going to put it right here, because I have to have room for a candy cane on somebody's hand, right? So again, I'm going to leave this middle area open. So for this one, it's going to come around the shoulder area. So I'm just going to come up here, and I'm going to make this double dimensionals. See, I'm just going to actually, so for me, I'm going to actually try to stack them just right exactly like they are, because to me it just works better that way. And I'm going to do that right there as well. I feel like I got like some paste on. Yeah, so I was actually, earlier I was actually trying to wash off my hands as soon as I created something, right? And cleaned off the little spatula there, just so it didn't get too thick on there, so I could still maneuver with it and everything else. And I didn't want it to dry on there. It'll come off, right? It'll come off. It's just that I was getting ready to make something else, so I needed it cleaned off. I didn't want a bunch of bulky stuff on it. You know, as I'm looking at this too, is I showed you how this one candy cane looked with having the paste on it. What I didn't show you is this white one. Get this one on here first, so we have to be able to get ribbon through here. And so this one will end just about right there, right? So actually, I didn't show you this, but this, so this is just the opposite, right? So I showed you how it looked with using the stencil, putting it on the green. here is the white that I used as the pattern. And I could actually turn around and trim this. And I could put it on red or green, right? So I could easily put this on red. See how that would really, let's see if you can see that. See how that really shows up? Now this is white on white, right? So this is actually the shimmer paste, and this is actually on the fluid paper. So if I put this on red, that's how much that'll really stand out, right? It would stand out just like this. But you can see the difference when I do it like that, right? So it just gives you something extra to add to the white. So I'll use that. I'll end up using that. All right, let's go ahead, and I'm going to do what I was telling you I'm going to do. Let's go ahead, and we're going to go ahead and add a little bit more paste here with the stencil. So again, all I'm going to do, let me use the tip of this to clean this out here. All I'm going to do is use it again. I'm just going to go right over where I went. Actually, this feels, no, I guess not. The in-between stuff feels, the paper itself feels dry, but the in-between stuff that I'm taking off feels like it's still like I've used it so much that it's sort of like it's kept it damp in the center. All right, so all I'm going to do is just line it up, right? If I can. If not, I might have to get me another piece, and that's okay, right? So if it doesn't work, you can't see it, and that's what I'm trying to see right now. Just line it up. Right, it's flexible enough, I had it wet enough that I can do this. Okay, so see how we just line that up right there, and we'll see how we like it. If we don't like it, then guess what? I get to do it again. And I put this out of the way so I didn't... Let's use the other one. I think it's like pretty caked on there. I know, right? So if you've ever done cookies, my friend, I got a friend that she cooks all the time. Alright, I'm just trying to see, see how I've lined that up right there. And I'm just going to come back over here with some paste. And I'm just going to come back over what I already did. So yes, Linda cooks and bakes a lot more than I do. I bake a lot when the grandkids are around and they want to do it, you know. We get into all mischief, but when they're not here... Okay, so I'll have to, so you see where it touched up on some of the stuff that wasn't up as high. So I'll have to wait for that to dry. And I'll have to wait for this to dry too before I can do anything else. So I'm just going to set it aside. But you can see that it'll let me add layers higher if I wanted to. And I can add on to what I already did. So I have to wait for it to dry to see what it looks like. And we'll just put that there so we can set things aside. Okay, so, and again, if you wasn't exactly what you wanted or where you wanted it, just take something sharp. I'm going to use these because these are the sharpest thing I got right now. And I can come through there and just touch it up a little bit if I want to, right? There you go. Okay, so there you go. So we just have to come back and add our candy canes. The main thing I want to show you today is what you could do with the paste, what we could use for that technique, right? And then also what we could do by using a sanding block on the two-tone cardstock. So we have a lot of different options. Same thing with our gumdrops. Like we did with the other, we can color our gumdrops right here that we did earlier. And that's what I'll end up doing. I'll do one right now, just like we did the other. I'll do one red, I'll do a set green, and then I'll just have to cut them out, right? So it's not going to matter because I'm going to cut them out. So I just want some nice red sparkly gumdrops. This is what I'm going to have. And then I went ahead and I did this one. I might need to go back and get some lime green because I'm liking the lime green. But then in the color, I went with the shaded spruce because it would match the buttons. But see how it comes out lighter? Now this is the light shaded spruce. But I'll match the gumdrop buttons we got on there. And it's got sparkly in it. So you have to fussy cut that around and we'll get that on there. So I hope you enjoyed it, right? Because it's all about learning new things. Let's see if I can get back up here. Right? It's always about creating, sharing, and giving. And I just wanted to show you just how we come together as a team, and we go and we'll create things. We'll spend an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we'll just create together and try different things, try different options and choices and so forth. And always fun to try out new product too. The shimmery paste isn't new, right? It's been around, but it's something I have a tendency to use more during the holidays than I do any other time. Doesn't mean I couldn't, right? It's just what I have a tendency to do. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I want to thank you for supporting us not only here on Facebook, but also on YouTube and Instagram. And I look forward to seeing you next week where we do something different that's not gingerbread men. All right, be blessed. Go out there, create, share, and give. And I'm going to be busy wrapping up my tutorial for this Saturday's retreat. I have 19 tutorials to do, so there you go. Whoop, whoop. All right, be blessed. See you soon. Bye.